Good afternoon, everyone. Just tipped over 12 o'clock. So a very warm welcome to the team Sherwood Forest Hospital's briefing. I'm Dave Sowen, I'm the Acting Chief Executive. I am joined by a plethora of guests today. I've got Ken Godber, who's the Head of Charity Development, who's going to give us an update around the charities. I've got Andrea Murphy, the Macmillan Cancer Information Lead, about some information around our services and the Macmillan offer. And then I've got James Thomas, our Acting Deputy Chief Medical Officer, who's going to give us some update around the Community Diagnostic Centre. And as always, I've got the lovely Liv, who's on the decks trying to control us. Please put some questions into the chat, and then we can ask the members here. Otherwise, you have to suffer my questions, which are very dull. So as always, I've got a few updates. And then I've also got a secret guest who's Andros, who's I'm going to bring in, if I remember, right at the start to give us a bit of an update. But the updates that I've got, some quite exciting news actually around the Excellence Awards. So 2025's Excellence Awards, they're now live, and you're able to nominate and give that opportunity to celebrate all of your hard work over the past 12 months or so. And it celebrates individual colleagues, teams and volunteers who go above and beyond, as always, to make a positive impact for our services, for our patients, for our visitors and colleagues. And we're adding, just to give you a bit of an update, we're adding a couple of newer awards this year. So we've got an exceptional contribution to sustainability, just recognising the current issues that we've got with sustainability and the climate emergency. So we'll have an exceptional contribution and sustainability award, and this one is open to clinical and non-clinical individuals and teams who've made a difference through projects to reduce energy, water, waste, medicines, or the use of a single item. And of course, it also cuts into reducing transport for staff or patients, lean pathways of climate education and climate action. So we'll be delighted to have nominations for that. And then we've rebadged one of our awards, and you're probably aware of this, but the award, the Chief Executive's Care Award, we've rebadged to just recognise our late Chief Executive, Paul Robinson, and we're going to call that from now going forwards the Paul Robinson Care Award. And that is really just to note that Paul was someone who lived and breathed the Sherwood Care Awards, and so we're going to encourage people to recognise colleagues and nominate colleagues who they feel are in the same category as that. And we look forward to presenting that on the day. Now, there's a whole host of ways that you can make these nominations. The nominations are open until Thursday, the 8th of May. So you've got about a month or so. We'll see how we get on with that. We may need to extend it, but the initial date is Thursday, the 8th of May, and we'll accept individuals from. We'll accept nominations from individuals and teams. You can actually self-nominate, but what we do is we judge the nominations purely on the information that's contained in that nomination. So the more that you write and how carefully you write it really helps us clarify why and who should be nominated for that award. So there's an online form which we'll put into the chat for you. We're also hosting a whole number of drop-in sessions where you can stop by, and we'll have members of the comms team to support you, helping to make those nominations. So if you just get a bit tongue-tied or you don't know what to write, come along to one of these drop-in dates and we'll help you write that. The important thing is to nominate, as opposed to getting too concerned about how to nominate. And those nomination sessions will be across the different organisations. And again, Liv will put some of this into the chat, so you've got all of that information. The next update I've got is dropping into your, hopefully your inbox and hopefully not your spam box, but it may be in your spam, is the quarterly pulse survey. So it always comes at a slightly funny time where we just get the National Staff Survey Awards just because of a long embargo time of that. So the National Staff Survey was finished back in November, but has only been released in the last month or so. But despite that, we've now got the what's called the quarterly pulse survey. So we do this in the in-betweening quarters, and it's a much more focused, much shorter survey, and it just encourages you all to have your say and helps clarify where we need to take action and what we've got right and what we haven't got right. I think this year there are 10 questions. I've done mine already. It took literally a few minutes just in between some calls. So it's 10 questions, and it helps direct where we've got to. So your invitation to that will have dropped into your email. It'll be the email that it's linked into your ESR, so it may have gone to your home email, but check for that and check for the spam inbox. And the reason I sort of make a big play about this is that we know that organisations that have good engagement from colleagues are organisations that have good quality of care. So that's why I make the big bones about that. We've also announced a few changes to the senior trust structure. So we've formally now, Simon Rowe has formally started as our Chief Medical Officer. So we've changed the medical director role to the chief medical officer, just recognizing that it's more outward facing in terms of the NHS environment we're going into. So he's formally taken up that, and we transferred a number of the statutory roles that sat with the previous medical director, who was me, to that. So some things such as the responsible officer and some of the leads for some of the health and safety and the accreditation process, we've transferred those across to Simon. And then at the same time, we've now announced that we've appointed a new chief operating officer. So Rachel Eddy announced that she'd be leaving Sherwood way back around Christmas time or so, and so we did a national search, and we've appointed Simon Illingworth, who's currently a substantive chief operating officer at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, King's Lynn. And we're delighted that he'll be joining us in early July, and he brings with him a wealth of experience and hopefully some ability to tackle some of the difficulties that we've faced with our front door and our planned care offerings over the past few years. So that's great to hear, and Simon's really looking forward to it. We've got some quotes, and I'm sure you've seen me updating the bulletin. If not, Liv again will put a link to that. And then finally, on the update, just to mention that actually next Wednesday, so the 23rd of April, it's National World Admin Day, and of course we'll be celebrating this, just saying thank you to all of those colleagues who help make our lives a little bit easier, who help make our patients' care a little bit easier. So important to everything that we do across Sherwood Forest hospitals. And we'll be celebrating that, and there'll be a whole host of events that we'll announce about that. But the one I wanted to tell you about is the Great Big Admin Bake Off, which doesn't really roll off a ton. I'll try and do it again. Great Big Admin Bake Off, which we're going to be running across all three of our hospitals on that Wednesday, the 23rd of April. And again, there's going to be some detail that I'll ask Liv to put into the Q&A side of things, so that you know where you can drop your amazing creations off. I think it's just a rumor that Paul Hollywood is going to be baking for us, but we shall see. So that's all of the updates that I was going to mention. Quite a lot going on just at the moment. But let me bring in Andros. Andros, I better get you to introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Dave. Well, hi, everyone. I am Andros, Communication Officer here at SFH. And just to add to the list of updates, I just want to remind everyone about our ongoing staff governor elections. Voting opened on the 1st of April and they closed on the 28th of April. We have 5 members of staff up for election, so please don't forget to vote. Emails have been sent out early this month and yesterday, a reminder. And when we have also sent one from our end, since we know that some of these emails have been landing on the junk folder on your email addresses. These emails have been sent from no reply at UK eVote, which is why potentially they're not going to your just standard inboxes. So do please keep an eye out. It is really, really important to vote for our governors. Yeah, just here to remind everyone to take part in the elections. And thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andros. And you're absolutely right, because my vote went to my spam folder. So just we'll get Liv to put the link where it comes from into the chat so people can just search for that. It's important that we encourage people to vote. And members on this call, so colleagues across Sherwood, they can only vote for the staff governor, if I've got that right, not for the public governors, because we don't count as members of the public. Have I got that right?
That is correct, yes. So there is 2 elements of the election, the staff governors and the public governors. So the staff, as the title says, will be elected by our own workforce, and the members of the public are elected by the public members. Anyone can be a public member as long as you're not a member of staff.
Perfect. And Andros, I've heard a rumor that you've suddenly taken up an interest in football and you're going to start supporting Newcastle Football Club. Is that true? What's all that about?
That is correct. This is my last week, unfortunately, as part of TeamSFH, and I'm going to be moving to the north and start, just playing for, I guess, the Newcastle side of things, the team. Not too what's the word? Not too familiarized with the rivalry between the Stags and Newcastle, but if anything, I hope we can all get along.
Well, thank you for everything that you've done and all your help, Andros, and we wish you well.
Thank you.
Okay, lovely. All right, I'm going to move us on then. So first up, we've got Ken, who's going to give us a bit of an update around the charity. Ken's our head of charity development. Ken, over to you.
Thanks, David, and good afternoon, everybody. So, I just want to spend a few minutes talking about the charity, not too much about the background of the charity. So I would encourage you to visit the charity pages on our website if you've not done before. That'll tell you all about what the charity is about and the work we've done and projects, and the link will be going into the chat shortly. It's not the easiest thing to find. If you just go to the homepage, but the link will get you there. So I'm just going to share my screen, if I may. Take you through a few slides. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so hopefully folks can see that. No longer see me.
Yeah, we can see that. Just make it big if you can.
Yeah, I'm just trying to start the slideshow. It's not playing. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, perfect.
Great stuff. Thank you. So, so I'm Ken Gobber. I'm head of charity development. So I'm working with the charity team to look at how we can basically increase the charity's reach, increase the income, and therefore do more projects. Just a bit of background, really. So we are a member of the NHS Charities Together, NHSCT, which was the big charity, if you remember, the late great Sir Captain Tom did his fundraising for during COVID. We're a member of that. There are 230 plus members collectively. We are the largest charity in the UK, and every single day the NHS charities up and down the country support £1.2 million worth of projects every day, which I think is pretty impressive scale for us all. So in very short terms, brief terms, we're quite a small charity at the moment. Retained balance is about 1.8 million. Currently, our income is fairly regularly around 280,000 a year, which is pretty good, given that we've not done a lot on terms of development and outreach, which is why I'm here. But we get a lot of donations from In Memory, very, very strong in recognition of good care. Some community fundraising. Our volunteers do a great job raising money through the stalls and the cafe, and we occasionally get legacies and some big grants and corporate donations. And our expenditure, we're not here to prop up the NHS, is the word I would use. We're here to be over and above the NHS to enhance our services, enhance our facilities, enhance staff health and wellbeing, etc. So we're not here to do the basics. We don't pay for what the NHS should be paying for. But the biggest statement I want to make is that the charity is your charity. I certainly see this as if we can all make the charity bigger and better and get more income in, then we all benefit by the projects that we can support. And with a workforce of over 5,500, I certainly view it that I've got 5,500 fundraisers that can help us do that. And I want to just share with you an invite really to become a charity ambassador. So I'm keen to get as many staff signed up to be ambassadors for the charity. And what might that mean? Well, it's there to promote the awareness of the charity and help us ultimately increase our funds. So if you're passionate about the trust, passionate about the charity, passionate about improving the experience for staff, visitors, patients, passionate about fundraising, and passionate about having fun, and actually fundraising is a great way to aid team building. And what would that mean you doing? Well, it will mean you'll be able to talk about the charity, inspire others to support us, maybe introduce me to some corporates and local businesses that I can talk to about becoming partners, and encourage others to get involved in fundraising. And I'm often asked about the time commitment for charity ambassadors. It's really as much time or as little time as you can give. I would welcome every member of staff to be supportive of us. So at the bottom there, I'm saying the minimum would be I've got your email address, so I can send you charity news, charity events for you to share in your department, in your area with colleagues. You might introduce me to some local companies that you know that I can chat about partners, or you might go the full hog and get involved in fundraising events, either making your own events or helping us to support ours. So the range of resource goes from very little email address right up to being fully involved. And I would welcome anybody to apply to be a charity ambassador. If you want further details, drop me an email. So the big news for today actually is, as part of the growth of the charity, we're looking to launch from today what's called your charity lottery. So charity lotteries, particularly in the format that we're looking at, which is you'll see in a second, is a small fee to join. I've statistically, rode out difficult periods like COVID, rode out difficult periods like cost of living crisis, and are a good way to secure some good, steady, recurrent income into a charity for us for a small amount. So the way the lottery will work, and it is being launched today, is it's a weekly draw. £1 per entry, taken as a direct debit as a straight £5 per month. Players are assigned a unique 6-digit number, so you don't choose your own, you'll be assigned that on signing up. And the draws take place every Saturday, with results published on our webpage at around about 6 p.m. in the evening each Saturday, with an additional Wednesday draw if there isn't 5 Saturdays in a month, which gives us the 5 draws. So that gives us 60 draws per annum, £1 a draw. And the safety net for people really around cost is we only accept a maximum of 2 entries per person. So £2 a week, £10 a month is the maximum that anybody can put into the lottery. How we're running it? Well, I've worked with 2 companies, Burden and Burden and the Fundraising Foundry. Burden and Burden are a company that provide canvassers that will come on site from the 28th of April to engage with mainly our visitors and folks walking through our buildings. They're trained professionals in terms of talking to the right people. They will basically engage with people about the charity in general and invite them to take part in the lottery. The lottery itself is administered by a company called the Fundraising Foundry, which gives it independence from us. So they do all the draws, and they will announce the winners to us, and we'll put them on our web pages. I had hopes that full details will be available today as I speak, but we're not quite there yet. But they will be available on our charity pages website very, very soon, along with a form enabling you to sign up to participate if you should so wish. My personal plea would be to, if you do want to sign up as a staff member, do please use the online form, because if you sign up through the canvassers when they're on site, we do pay the canvassers a fee for each sign up, whereas the sign up directly on the form is free and therefore more money into the charity. So do look out for further announcements in the coming days of when those pages and the form is available through our screensavers and internet banners. What might you win? Very briefly, there's the prizes. So match 3 numbers, it's a £10 prize. 4 numbers is £100, 5,000 and 6 numbers would get £25,000, and these are weekly prizes. And why do we see this as a good thing for the charity? Well, a lot of national charity lotteries give a return of no more than 50p in the pound to charity. The company we've engaged with, you can see there from the outset, we get around about 73 pence in the pound back to the charity. So the couple of highlighted examples there I've done is if we get 1,500 players, we can expect to see a gross return to the charity of around about 60,000. But this quite soon quickly jumps up. You can see there 10,000 players would give us just shy of £500,000. And just as an example, we know that our colleagues at Derby Royal, who have been running the lottery for pre-COVID, a couple of years pre-COVID, they're currently sat at around about 26 to 28,000 players. So they're grossing over £1 million now into their charity just from their lottery. So key dates is the launch today, which I've just done. The canvases will commence on site on the 28th, so you will start seeing from the 28th some new folks on site behind a charity stand that will engage with the public mainly around the lottery and the charity. First direct debit won't be till July, and the first draw is the 19th of July. You can appreciate from people signing up, it takes a long time to get things set up, and certainly the canvases need a good few weeks on site to help us get to a golden number of people for the first draw. The key thing with the canvassers on site is they are skilled at talking to people about the charity and the lottery, but by default, if you're walking through our buildings, they may try and interact with yourselves, which could become a bit of a bug for you guys if you're walking through every day to work and you get collared by the canvassers. So the arrangement they've had at other trusts and with us is if you do walk through and they do try and talk to you about the charity and lottery and you don't want to have that conversation, if you just say the word bicycles to the staff there, they will bid you a good day and let you get on with your day. And over time, they'll get to know who you are. So that should hopefully avoid any problems with being constantly hassled by the canvassers for staff. But by all means, if you've got any queries or questions, either today, over the coming weeks, and particularly when we go live, I'd like them directed straight to my inbox if you could please, and then I can answer you directly and keep a live FAQ section of the website updated. So do please come back to me with any queries, questions. And then, so that's the lottery, so that's quite exciting. And then coming soon, so these are a couple of great events coming up soon that aren't quite there yet, but in the next few weeks you'll see more on them. Really pleased and proud with this one. So I've been working for about 6 months now, talking to various parts of the trust to get this over the line, and we've finally got agreement now that we will be running an abseil off the top of Kingsmill on the 3rd and 4th of October. That's a Friday and a Saturday in October. Intention is to have 2 lines off the roof, 200 people over the 2 days, which should be a great event for folks to engage with and hopefully a great fundraiser for the charity. And to give some assurance, we're working with the company called Big Bang Experiences, who have recently done an abseil at Doncaster and Basildon Trust. And you can see there they've done a couple of zip wires over the Royal Crescent at Bath and over Twickenham Stadium. And for the car junkies amongst us, they also did a car bungee for Nissan in France. And if anybody saw Freddie Flintoff's bungee in a car for Top Gear, that was also done by Big Bang Experiences. So again, very experienced in this, and it's great to be working with them. Next few weeks, there will be a page on the website and also just giving pages and how you can register and all the terms and conditions. So please, for now, just save the date if you're interested. And if you want to register interest, drop me an email with abseil in the subject title, and then I'll know that once I've got everything firmed up and the forms available, I'll be able to send that through to you direct. So please engage with that. That'll be great. And the other event that we're really, really proud as a charity to be involved in, we've been able to secure a single place in the 2026 London Marathon, which, if anyone knows about the marathon, these spaces are like gold dust. So really proud to have applied and been awarded a single place. This again is just to put a marker in your minds if you are a runner or know any runners. Just remember us for the marathon. We can't do anything publicly or do much publicity until this year's race has been run at the end of April. But again, if you want to register interest now, drop me an email. More to come on that once we can get into May and we're allowed to go public on that. And clearly we will need to come up as a charity a process of how do we allow people to apply and how do we select that single runner for Shield Forest Hospitals and for our charity, but very, very exciting to be part of TCS London Marathon 2026. So I'll close now with just to reiterate, the charity is your charity. So do please get involved. That's either by sign up as charity ambassador would be great. Talk to people and publicise the charity. Introduce me to business owners if you know any, or to corporate partners. Get involved in fundraising. Do please engage with the events, the ones I've shared, and there will be more to come. And just come and have a chat to us either through my email address there. I will come and talk to your teams, or equally drop into the Community Involvement Hub, and the team there will gladly have a chat with you. Thank you very much, and I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
Brilliant, Ken. Huge amount of information there. So there's something here, if I've got this right, about actually it's our charity and supporting the charity, and that lottery will help that. And the easiest way is to go online to do that, and it's £1 a week, which comes to £5 a month. And I was a bit confused by that, but you said that's because there's 60 draws a year, so we put some extra draws in when they're not 5 weeks in a month, or whatever the phrase was. So that makes that sense. There's a whole series of prizes that were really quite tempting. From that point of view, we want to get to at least 10,000 people involved in our lottery. Recognizing we don't have 10,000 people employed by our organisation, we want to get people walking through our organisation, patients, visitors and relatives, and so we've got a whole load of people on site who are going to help promote this. If they're starting to irritate you, you need to have the secret word, which was bicycles, and they'll stop irritating you. Have I got that right? We've got the Abseil on the 3rd to 4th of October, which is the Big Bang Experience, who I'm currently Googling, and other search engines are available. And then really exciting news about next year's, not this year's, next year's, because you're too late for this year, next year's marathon, London Marathon, and we will be thinking and then communicating how we're going to allocate that single place. But that's a fantastic prize. Have I got that about right, Ken?
Absolutely perfect, David. Thank you.
I was paying attention. I can't see any questions, but there's a load of things there. Let me ask you one tricky one, just to stimulate people. I'm only going to ask you one. So there's been a bit of negativity around the Major Tom charity. So who controls our charity?
So I'll cover two things, if I may. So certainly, who controls our charity? We are a corporate trustee model. So our trust board we have a single trustee, which is our trust board, which is made up of all the trust board members. So individually, our trust board are not trustees per se in charity commission eyes, but the trust board itself is a single trustee. So, but that does mean that we occasionally, as you'll know, we manage the charity through the Charity Funds Committee, which has a subset of some of our exec and non-exec directors, and then we regularly report to the full board, and we host a separate, although it's the same people around the table, a separate board meeting for the charity at least once annually, if not twice a year, so we can deal with charity business separately to trust business.
Yeah, and the accounts are audited separately to the trust accounts because they're completely separate.
Correct.
Okay, that's really clear. So lots of things in the chat about how to contact Ken, about the lottery and the Abseil. I suspect you'll be getting lots of emails. I'll just run us on a bit, Ken, and we'll see if any questions come up. Let me bring in Andrea, who's going to give us a bit of an update around the Macmillan Cancer Information and Support Service. Andrea.
Thank you, David. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. There we go. I hope you can see that.
We can see that.
Thank you. So I'm just going to take sort of 5-10 minutes just to tell you a little bit about the work that we do at the Macmillan Cancer Information and Support Service. But really the talk today is really about promoting our Newark expansion project. So this is a really exciting project that we've been lucky enough to sort of secure, and we're just sort of currently opening a brand new community-based Macmillan Information and Support Service. So historically, information and support has always been based in hospitals nationally. And of course, our established service is in Kingsmill Hospital reception. We've also got an information library at Newark Hospital. But this project really brings sort of comprehensive local services to local people of Newark and Sherwood and the surrounding areas. So it is a new venture. Okay, just come on to the next slide if I can. Sorry, I'm just trying to get onto my next slide. There we go. Okay, so just thank you. So a little bit of a recap on what we provide as a service for those people that aren't really aware of what we do. We provide cancer information and support, and that's really, you know, in order to provide high quality, reliable and accessible information. So we provide support in different formats to provide that accessibility. So easy read formats, information in different languages. But I think sort of the key to our service is that we do, you know, we are here at the Trust to support anybody that's affected by cancer. So patients, relatives, neighbours, friends, anybody. It's not just for the cancer patient. And also we provide that support and information across the whole of the pathway. So people may be the worried well, people that are having investigations or living with their cancer or having treatment, but also those living beyond their cancer diagnosis too, as well as supporting those in palliative care and in bereavement. Another key role is about supporting the referral and signposting of people to other services. And that's really to try and support people's holistic well-being. So we connect with services, you know, health services, health and social care, and also voluntary sectors, just really to try and secure, you know, the relevant support for that individual. As a team, we offer some wellbeing events. So we offer the cancer information and support event. That's bi-monthly, and that's for those people that are newly diagnosed, where it's almost a market stall event where people can come and find out what support is available to wrap around the clinical support that the clinicians provide. We also host a walking group as well around the reservoir, and then thinking about those people that are, you know, maybe thinking about living beyond their cancer, we offer Hope programs as well, which is a 6-week supported self-management program. We do have a digital offer. So we're very lucky enough to have our Sherwood Forest Hospital's cancer app, and this is hosted on a platform called My Health Boost. And you can see on the screen that there's some QR codes. So if anybody would like to have a look at the app, they can scan the QR code. And then once the app is downloaded free of charge, just search Sherwood Forest Hospital's cancer app, and that will automatically open our dashboard. And I think one of the really sort of positive things about this app is we do have a signpost from the NHS app and PKB library into, you know, our app. So the two do work simultaneously together. And of course, the digital sort of offer just really helps people, you know, to access the information and support when they're not in the hospital, you know, maybe when they're sat relaxing at home. Importantly, we are here for people affected by cancer. So as I've said, you know, that may be patients, it may be carers, but also importantly, you know, I want to just sort of drive home that we are here to support staff as well, either staff who unfortunately have a cancer experience, or also their managers who may be seeking, you know, some advice on how to support their employee, you know, or their team member. So that is sort of available from our service. So just looking at our expansion project into the YMCA Community Activity Village at Newark. It is a 3-year test and learn project, primarily sort of funded by Macmillan. And it was really born out of patient feedback that, you know, there was a gap in services in the Newark area. So Macmillan has leased the space here in the YMCA, and it's a huge airy space. I will show you some photographs a little bit later. And they've also furnished the space so it is sort of purposely designed to support people affected by cancer. So our role at Sherwood Forest Hospitals is really to provide the staff and the expertise of the team, but also to operationally manage the service. So Sherwood Forest secured the funding for 2 information and support facilitators through a Macmillan investment application to really support the delivery of the project. So, you know, it is very much a partnership between Sherwood Forest and Macmillan. And like I say, the space is really there designed to support a range of activities. And I think it's important to say that we're really working hard to answer the call for the centre to evolve into a friendly and accessible community resource. The centre, what we're trying to sort of achieve is that it almost offers a one-stop shop for people to come and talk to us about their worries and concerns and have all those challenges met under one roof. If clinicians, you know, obviously we'll be working with our clinical partners, and we're here so then clinicians can refer or signpost patients into the service here in Newark. But also it's really important to add that we're not a clinical service ourselves. So if somebody does come with a clinical question, you know, then we will certainly signpost them back to their sort of cancer teams or their GPs. So a little bit about, you know, what's going to be happening in the centre. And here is almost a list of partner organisations that we're working with to secure a timetable of events to meet the holistic needs of individuals. So you can see here that we're addressing people's physical needs, and we're hoping to achieve a partnership with ABL, Your Health Not, and their role really will be to link in around health promotion, any worries about cancer, reducing the risk of cancer. We're linking with the Notts County Care Federation, which that's an organisation who provide rehabilitation and prehabilitation for people affected by cancer. We'll be running walking groups and also opening some discussions with the YMCA strength and conditioning coaches to find out if they could perhaps support carers in particular with their sort of general fitness and their sort of physical and also emotional well-being. In terms of practical support, we're working in partnership with Macmillan Beyond Diagnosis. They work in partnership with Self-Help UK and social prescribing. And there's going to be some holistic needs clinics happening, and we're going to be working jointly to deliver some cancer support groups, carer support groups, and lots of other different supportive activities. We're really pleased to welcome our clinical psychology colleagues from the physical health psychology team who will be working in the space and are actually working in the space here today to deliver level 4 psychological interventions. And also we're having some negotiations with Relate to provide some free sort of couples counselling, relationship counselling, and even some sex therapy for people affected by cancer. And along with that, we're looking at delivering Look Good Feel Better sessions with the Look Good Feel Better charity, which will support both men and women to feel a little bit better about themselves. And also we'll be having our local wig suppliers coming in to support people with chemotherapy-induced hair loss. Financially, obviously, when people are affected by cancer, you know, their financial worries are huge. And we're working with the Citizens Advice Central Notts for them to hold a clinic here in the centre over at Newark to be able to sort of assist people with their financial affairs or benefits claims or any appeals, but also looking at their welfare issues too. And I think that's a really important service that we're working on to secure. And carer support as well. You know, a cancer diagnosis has such implications for carers. So we're working with the Carers Federation, looking at the needs of adult carers, but also Chivida, looking at the needs of young carers, and then also more and perhaps around supporting children whose parents have got cancer. So that's just really a snapshot of the work that's already been put in place to be able to deliver that one-stop support over in the Newark area. And then finally, I'd just like to share some visuals of the new centre. So this is the first time really that we've been able to share the actual physical photos. So here you can see, you know, that it is a really lovely space. We've got the reception desk and an information library, lots of seating. We've got a kitchenette for people to make drinks. We've got a group room, and then we've actually got 2 individual counselling rooms too. So it is the perfect space to be able to offer such a wealth of support. So our opening times are from 8:30 till 4, Monday to Friday. And you can see on screen our telephone number. At the moment, we're using an extension number out of Newark Hospital that's diverted onto a mobile phone. But within the coming weeks, leading up to our grand opening, we're working with the digital business team to secure a more permanent landline number. There's our email address, so if anybody would like to, you know, raise any issues today or are looking for support, then that's our email address that is open to sort of staff and public to use. So our soft launch dates, we open the doors for soft launch activities where we'll be welcoming service users and staff in to have a look around the centre as of this week. And then we're looking at the grand opening being in June on the 10th, whereby we'll be inviting lots of influential people, you know, and also users of the service to the grand opening to really mark the, you know, delivery and development of this service. So that's it really from me. I'll just stop sharing, and then I'm just thinking if there's any questions.
Wow, huge amount of information there. So there's a few bits I picked from that. So it's just reminding us all that the Macmillan service is not just for our patients, it's for colleagues, staff, even line managers, I think you mentioned, Andrea.
That's right.
We've put those QR codes in the chat for people to get hold of. That's some fantastic news about developing the services and that new facility across at the YMCA. Of course, there's a real theme, isn't there? The YMCA's got a climbing centre, which goes back to Ken's bit about the abseiling. So we bit of a theme through that. I'm intrigued how James is going to continue with that theme. And then the other bit is just that fantastic news about not just concentrating not just on the physical side of things, but also psychological and the sort of allied needs, if I can put it that way. And the dates are there and all the contact details in there. I don't see any questions in there. We'll just see if we get any questions, Andrea. Just bear with us. I'm going to move us on to James, who's going to give us a talk about abseiling. No, he's going to give us a talk about Community Diagnostic Centre, an update. James.
Hi, thanks, Dave. Hi, everybody. I'm very willing to talk about abseiling if you like, but I don't know anything about it, I'm afraid. I think, as most people know, we are building a CDC down at Mansfield Community Hospital, and so I'm here to promote one of our regular engagement sessions that we're doing tomorrow. I'll bring that slide up in a moment. But it's worth noting that we are now exactly 1 year away from the opening date. So we are entering a bit of a countdown period now. The clock starts now. We are 1 year from opening. So tomorrow we are at Kingsmill Hospital in Lecture Theatre 1. Here's the slide at 11 o'clock. Please come along and hear all about it. It's only going to be an hour's worth. There is a QR code and an email address on that slide there for you to see, and there's QR codes on all of the other slides as well. If you can tell us that you're coming, that would be really nice, but you don't need to. You can just come along and see what we're all talking about. So I'll flick you through. This is how the unit is going to look at the moment. We were down there the other day for what we call the topping out ceremony. So when the steel work on the building is finished, we have a sort of traditional ceremony where the last bolt of the steelwork is tightened. And at the moment, the facility down there is looking like this. This is drone footage that was taken by our building partners, Kia, last week. And I think, as you can see, it's fantastic, isn't it? Deal. And it's absolutely enormous. It's going to be a very exciting year as that's put together. More of that on Thursday for those who come along. Let me go back to my other slides.
James, did you have any special celebration of the topping out?
We did. So here they are. This is the gang with you, Dave, front and centre. So we were joined by representatives from Kier, our building partners. There's the project team there as well, and two of our colleagues from Medirest, who used to work in the kitchen that is now demolished and is going to become the new staff room and staff facilities. We had a signing of the steelwork, so we each took turns to sign a bit of steel that will then get embedded into the building. And that's Ros Roddy that you can see there. She's the matron from MCH, putting her stamp of approval and her name on it. And then we had the last bolt of the steelwork painted in gold, ceremonially tightened by a giant golden wrench, which Dave has got there on his shoulder. So that was a very fun day that we had the other day. If you'd like to join the fun, come along to Lecture Theatre 1 tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow, Thursday. 11 o'clock we start. We're doing it in 2 halves. So the first half, from about 11 o'clock onwards, will be a couple of presentations. I'll be there along with the rest of the project team. I'll talk through the latest progress on the building work and what we're going to do in the centre. But we also want to focus on pathways now. So we're 1 year from opening. We really want this year to be about the patients that are going to be there and what we're going to do. We don't want to lift and shift existing services necessarily. We want to use this as an opportunity to do something a little bit different. So on Thursday, we've got Dan Smith coming along, and he's going to talk us through a very exciting new breathlessness pathway that we're planning to launch. So that's a collaboration between the respiratory and the cardiology departments. We're aiming to produce pathways that are based on patient symptoms. So if you come in with you're breathless and we don't know why, see a cardiologist, see a respiratory doctor, have all the tests you need all in one day. That's the plan. He will tell you all about that on Thursday. And then after that, we've got about 30 minutes outside in the foyer in the education centre where we've got displays set up from the various departments that are going to work in the CDC. So the endoscopy team are going to be there showing you what they do, and they may have a couple of scopes to fiddle with. The respiratory team are also going to be there as Dan Smith is giving a presentation. Cardiology will be there talking about the heart scans that they do. We've also got our external partners, so that's Kier, the builders, and Pulse, our project partners, will also have stands there explaining anything that you want to know, really. They are there for you to go and ask questions of and be a resource for you. They're very, very friendly folk. So that's it. I'm going to leave that on screen for as long as you can tolerate it. That's Thursday, 11 o'clock, Lecture 31, Kings Mill. Let us know if you are coming via the email or the QR code, but you don't have to. You can just turn up. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, really clear, James. Thank you so much. And very exciting 1 year on. And just that, I mean, as you described, so going down there, walking around it, it's going to be huge. So the building topped out with steel. I think, if I've got it right, the roof goes on in the next month or so, and then the walls, and then pretty much quickly after that, the stuff goes inside, and it's all the stuff that makes the difference.
We're at a moment now where things are going to look like they're happening very quickly. So the steel went up in 3 weeks. The roof will be on, like you say, and then the brickwork and the windows go in. Then it's going to look like not an awful lot is happening for a while because it's all then happening inside, all of the internal doors and floors and walls, and then the equipment. So some of the big scanners are arriving around December time. December, January, they're being installed, ready for a go live in April. We've got our CDC ambassadors recently voted that each of the units in there is going to be named after the trees of Sherwood Forest. So we've got a bit of a meeting next week to figure out which tree is going to be assigned to which specialty and sort out all the signage. That's quite exciting as well.
That can only possibly get confusing. And as you described, I think the exciting thing about all of this is that it affords us the opportunity to think differently, and that's what you're describing, that actually it's not about just repeating and going faster on the hamster wheel and doing the same things. It's about changing those opportunities to think about pathways and putting services together in a different way. Is that fair?
Yes, I'm very keen that that's the case. This is not more of the same. This is something a bit different, and we need to focus on that for the next year.
Yeah, and the other thing I was really struck when talking to our building partners, Kier, I was really struck with how important they see this as a project. So the bits they were talking to me about were how they've got apprentice people helping with this, how they're doing lots of training on this, so that they're then leaving something when it's built that gives back to the community, not just in terms of the structure of the building and not just the care for our patients, but also it gives a bit of legacy and longevity in terms of for the future. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, they're very keen on that indeed. And we must also remember that Kia aren't going to be doing everything. So they've subcontracted lots of local businesses and companies. So, the plastering, the painting, the other bits and bobs are being done by Mansfield companies and similar. So the people who are building it are also the patients who are going to be using it. And everyone's very committed to it.
Yeah, it's local, isn't it? And I saw something about the majority of the materials being sourced locally from that point of view. Okay, perfect. Look, there's been loads and loads of information here. We're probably overrunning, which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do. But I don't see any questions, so I don't know if that means we've answered everyone's questions or people are just feeling a bit questioned out. So there's a huge amount we talked about. We talked about some really good updates around the charity. There's obviously the aspects in terms of the weekly lottery, how to do that, what that means, the prizes associated with that, why we're doing that, and then there was the exciting news about the ABSEL, how you get involved in that and what that's going to look like coming up in October, and then finally the aspects around the marathon for 20. What will that be? 26, won't it? Gosh. And in terms of just starting to think about that, then we've had a huge amount around the developments around Macmillan, just recognizing that actually physical health is not the key to all of this. It's all about that holistic care. So the psychological side of things, but actually helping people with their societal issues as well. Obviously, from my background, I'm very interested in the prehabilitation and all of those sort of aspects, and we know that investing this time and effort really helps people, encourages their ability to get over their treatment, and also improves their well-being. So that's really important. And then finally, just some really important updates around the community diagnostic centre and what that's starting to look like, and it's just changing the shape and the view of the town, really. It's a fantastic achievement. So probably, unless there are any questions, I might just go around the virtual room and just get Ken, Andrew and James to give any final thoughts. Ken, you first.
Thanks, David. Just final thought for me is, iterate the charity is your charity. So if we can all make it bigger and better, we all benefit from the projects we're doing. And I guess the final thing, just look out for particularly lots of projects around staff health and wellbeing, and I'm working with the health and wellbeing team to mould that at the moment. So there'll be lots of opportunities to get involved in fundraising for the benefit of our own staff, which is not a bad thing. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. And Andrew, final thoughts.
I think my final thoughts are around, obviously continue supporting and signposting people to the information centre at Kingsmill, but also, bear in mind for those Newark patients that there is a local service for people from Macmillan. And I think it's interesting around the community diagnostic service, how we will in future work alongside the teams there in supporting those people, that do get a diagnosis of cancer through that service. So lots of interesting things and exciting proposals in future.
Brilliant, thank you. And James, last thoughts from you.
Thanks. If anyone would like to get involved, they can sign up to be a CDC ambassador. You can find it on our CDC microsite on the Trust intranet. I think my reflection of this whole briefing actually is that whilst things are a bit pressured at the moment, the world is a bit of a difficult place. The NHS is in a bit of a difficult financial situation. We've heard from 4 guests doing really exciting and positive things that are building and making things better. So it's not all grim. Things are great.
Yeah, and I was going to just say to you, how much is the CDC costing? It's a very, very significant capital investment for us. Just recognising we can get hung up on capital and revenue, but it's a very significant capital investment, isn't it?
It's on towards about 20 million is what we're putting into building.
Yeah, phenomenal. Perfect. Okay. So great great conversation. Thank you. Shy on the questions, but hopefully you found it interesting and entertaining. Recognizing we're obviously now going into a holiday period, so I hope you have some restful time, have some time with your family, and those of you who are working for our patients, thank you so much for all that you do. And finally, a thank you to Liv for succinctly running everything. Thanks, everyone.